So skip this video if you're kind of queasy, because I'm going to talk about something a little crazy that happened to me. So I was sitting on the toilet just peeing, and all of a sudden I realized that I was bleeding and there were some very large clumps or clots of blood that were coming out of me and going into the toilet. And I'm not talking about those little tiny clots of blood that we have when we have our period. I'm talking big clots of blood. I looked down and I was like, OMG, I'm dying. I'm gonna bleed to death. What the what is going on? And I was freaking out. Honestly, I was super freaking out. I had no idea what was going on with me. I was just bleeding like super heavy. And I didn't know what to do, so I'm still sitting on the toilet, but my phone was next to me, and I called a girlfriend, and I was like, hey, I'm dying, I'm bleeding to death, there's like massive amount of blood in the, in the toilet, what the hell is going on? And thank God for her, because she was like, Karen, don't worry, don't panic. That's a sign that you are in perimenopause. Your period can get really heavy. You can have these big blood clots, and it's just perimenopause. And I was like, what? Perimenopause? Who knew? Why did somebody tell me that this could happen? I literally thought I was going to die. I had no idea. And I think this could happen to a lot of women, that they have no idea what the symptoms of perimenopause are. So when they start to happen, we basically lose our minds. Just because we don't know. We don't know any better. We don't know what's going on. I certainly had no idea what was going on. I certainly did not know to expect this. I've never had a heavy period before in my entire life. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was bleeding to death. So I hope that didn't gross you out too much, but I am just sharing this because if there's somebody else out there that this has happened to, or that is happening to right now, I want you to know that this could be just a very normal symptom of perimenopause. So what did I do? So I basically went to see my doctor as soon as I could, and she confirmed that, yes, Karen, this was a symptom of perimenopause. You are now going into menopause. And she put me on the pill, and luckily the pill worked fairly fast. I can't remember how quickly it worked, honestly, because this was quite a number of years ago. But it worked fairly quickly. But in between, I gotta tell you, it was a little bit of a nightmare. I mean, I was like changing my pads and my tampons like every hour. I had to sleep with a garbage bag on my bed at night because I didn't want to soak through the sheets and soak through them to the mattress. I was terrified to leave the house. I didn't want to leave because, if you leave and you have an accident, it's just like super embarrassing. So I think for maybe a week or two, or however long it took to work, I really was a mess. I didn't want to leave the house. But at least I knew. At least I knew what was going on, that this was a symptom of perimenopause, that I was going into menopause, and this is what happens. I mean, somebody needs to tell us women these things, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing on this topic. So sorry if this grossed you out, but if I had known that this was a possibility, it would have saved me a lot of stress and anxiety. And thank God for my girlfriend who knew what was going on, because I don't know what I would have done. I would have probably gone to the emergency room. Honestly, if I didn't have my girlfriend to talk to me, I would have probably gone to the emergency room. So if this is you, please check it out with your doctor. It could simply be a symptom of perimenopause. And it's so hard for us women to know when we are going into perimenopause and menopause. There's literally 100 different symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And I actually had quite a few of them after this, because before this happened to me, I had no idea. I had no idea I was even in perimenopause. I probably was experiencing a lot of the symptoms of perimenopause. But if you don't know what they are and they're happening to you, you don't even know that you're experiencing perimenopause. You don't know what to expect. You don't know that this phase of life is about to come upon you. So I think it's really important that we're prepared, that we know what's about to happen, and that, it helps us to go into this phase of life more calmly, more relaxed, prepared, armed with knowledge, and knowing what our options are. Because for me, I started to have anxiety, I started to have hot flashes, I started to have more joint pain, brain fog, sleeplessness, and I just kind of had to figure it out, as I went along. I did go to see my doctor sometime into it, probably not for a good while though. I don't think I went to see my doctor about all this for a couple months, because they don't all happen at the same time. And my doctor, as I've shared before, told me, no, Karen, HRT is not for you. She was super old school. She didn't believe in it. She still bought into the whole link between HRT and breast cancer. So she was not a fan. She's like, no HRT for you. So I had to kind of figure out how to manage all these symptoms on my own. What were some natural ways that I could relieve my menopause symptoms? So luckily, to go back to the story, luckily the bleeding did stop. My period went away. I never ever had it again. It had never came back. I think I was on the pill. She put me on the pill for, I think it was 6 months. And after I came off of it, my period just never came back. I never came back. So I was like, good riddance. That's fine. I'm fine with that. To me, it's one of the positives of being in this phase of life. No more dealing with that drama every month. So I don't know if that will be your experience, but that was my experience. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to share. I would love to educate others about, what happened to me, prepare you for menopause, perimenopause, because there is such a lack of preparation for women. Please share if you've had any other symptoms or anything that you think would be useful, so we can all help each other to maneuver this phase of our life as gracefully as we can. So if this resonated with you, I would really appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel. And I also have put together a menopause self-care toolkit, which has a couple different things which I think are really helpful if you are going into menopause. So I am a yoga teacher, so the toolkit does have a short video on yoga for joint pain, because that's one of the symptoms that I really struggled with a lot, joint pain. It also has a daily wellness checklist to give you some ideas for things to do to take care of yourself. It has a list of confidence boosting affirmations, because this time of life can be challenging, and I think we need to boost our confidence in whatever ways we can. So please check out my free menopause self-care toolkit. Love to know how you find it as well if you do get it. And also you could check out my next video, which is 10 natural ways to help you in menopause, which again, from my experience of almost 10 years in menopause. So love to hear from you. Please leave me a question or a comment, or if there's anything else you want me to cover in my videos, and I'll see you again soon.